B.A.D podcast.
Today we have Tyrone native, current district magistrate in Tyrone, and candidate for one of the 2 open seats in the Blair County Court of Common Pleas, Judge Fred Miller, with us. Thank you for being with us today.
Thanks. I appreciate the opportunity to come up and speak with you both.
How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad.
All right, so first, can you tell us a little bit about your background and what it's like for you growing up in Tyrone?
Yeah, sure. As you know, I'm originally from Tyrone. I attended Tyrone High School, graduated, attended Penn State over at University Park with a degree in finance, and then I went to law school in Carlisle, south of Harrisburg, and obtained my law degree. I had a great experience growing up in Tyrone. I played basketball. Our regular routine was pretty much played basketball 7 days a week when we weren't in school, and split that with the summers at the swimming pool, and just enjoyed ourselves growing up.
Why did you choose to become a lawyer and a judge?
Well, when I went, after I graduated from Penn State, when I was younger, I thought about going with law school. I had a good relationship with my grandfather, and he always emphasized the importance of public speaking. And that's a major component, being an attorney and being in the courtroom every day, is speaking and, learning to speak on your feet. And that was something I always considered. I had a finance degree, and I originally was planning to do corporate law. And then after I got out of law school, I got an opportunity. I worked for a judge in Center County, and then we were in the courtroom every day. And from there, I went into private practice. We did some criminal defense work. We represented some football players who had some unfortunate incidents over in State College. Was in the courtroom a good bit, and then I ended up getting appointed by the governor as the district judge here in northern Blair County, and I've been fortunate to be here for the last 21 years.
Why are you running for Blair County judge?
Now, at this time, we have 2 seats open up at the Blair County Courthouse, which is roughly almost half, 40% of the bench. And one of the things is I'm born and raised from Blair County. When I got out of law school, I had opportunities to go to Harrisburg, Pittsburgh, and Philadelphia. But Blair County is where I wanted to come back, work, live, and raise a family. We reside just outside Altoona in Sinkin Valley. And I love the county, and it was an opportunity for me at the district judge level to give back to the community. That was a great, wonderful place for me to grow up in. And with the opportunity at the courthouse, a lot of the work that's been up there I've done as either, not a lot, vast majority, I guess you could even say, I've done as a judge and as an attorney. So I think it's a good opportunity for me to step in with about 40% of the judiciary being open, to step in and hit the ground running, help the community, help the system.
If elected, what are your goals?
Like the court system is referred to as a unified judiciary system. So you're one part of the puzzle. So it would be to work with the attorneys, the other judges, the court administrator, probation, all the departments, to best serve the citizens of Blair County. I've always been supportive. I helped Judge Sullivan. We formed a truancy court a number of years ago. With his retirement, that's on hiatus. That's something that affects students here at Tyrone, everywhere in Pennsylvania. I'd like to work to bring that back. I also support a veterans court, mental health court, things that can further improve our community and make it a better place to live. At the same point in time, I have an obligation. I take an oath, obviously, to follow the law.
What do you see as the biggest challenges or issues when it comes to criminal justice in Blair County?
The issues that you would say you'd have in Blair County are not just unique to Blair County. They're stretched throughout Pennsylvania, throughout the country. A significant, if not overwhelming, number of people that we encounter in the criminal justice system have a lot of drug and alcohol and mental health issues. So those are issues that, we as a court system and as a society need to work to address. If we can, work to improve those areas, that would flow over and positively impact the criminal justice system. But at the same time, you have to balance the thing of, presumed innocent until you're found guilty. So there's a process involved in there as well too. But ensuring the public safety, applying the law equally and fairly, to all is something we have to do as a court system.
What are some specific issues that high school students and young adults that you have worked with in the past?
Well, a lot for high school. I can tell you, I just spent 2 or 3 hours this morning truancy hearings. With students not attending school, what they would consider missing illegally. One of the biggest concerns and indicators is, students who miss a significant number of days of school it's not a good situation. We need the kids to attend school, graduate, grow up, be productive members of the society. We have a lot of truancy citations, and that's not unique to Tyrone and Bellwood. That's a same issue throughout the county, throughout the state. For young adults, from school-wise, the majority are truancy, and then tobacco, vaping in school. For whatever reason, with the vaping going on, that's had an increase in the school as well. And again, that's not unique to Tyrone. But the bulk of the matters, the majority you would see with students is probably during the school year's truancy, and the second would be with tobacco or tobacco products or vaping along those lines.
Has Tyrone always had issues with this, like truancy issues?
Unfortunately, every school's had truancy issues since I've been in office, and it's not unique to Tyrone. You can look at the size of the school to be proportionate with it too. So I don't know that it's always been an issue, but it's always been an issue everywhere. And a lot of that stems when it goes back. You'd like to, as the court, if they have absences at school, what might those issues be? Are there problems at home, issues at home? Are there issues in school? And as the court, we try to address those issues. Everybody should be able to want to come to school and look forward to it, and not be worried about having a bad day at school from other students, other people, things like that. Mutual respect, and that's something that should be everywhere, and in the school system. Treat other people how, and not just school, and work and in your environment. You should treat other people the same way you want to be treated. It's a number of times you have a court case and someone will act a certain way to somebody, but then they don't want that type of behavior coming back at them. It's the classic treat others as you would like to have them treat you.
What comes with being a judge?
At our level, at the district judge, it's a lot of work. You gotta, when people come into the courtroom, they have to know as soon as they come in the courtroom door, they're gonna get a fair hearing. We have to apply the law. It's not my job to make the law. We interpret it as the court system. That's our branch of government. As a district judge, we also have the responsibilities of being on call. So when I'm on call, it'll be from a 6 a.m. Friday to the following 6 a.m. 24 hours a day. So after hours, if the police anywhere in Blair County need a judge, when I'm on, they'll contact me. So you can get phone calls we do get phone calls at all hours of the night, weekends, middle of the night. That can affect your schedule as far as for, going to any type of a sporting event, out to eat or whatever. When that's your week on call, you need to adjust your schedule to be available. But that's I'm not complaining, that's part of the job. And it's an important part because you need to have that resource there as that judge. And it has benefits. The biggest benefit is when you take the time and you meet with somebody, especially a juvenile, you work with them, and they turn themselves around and or improve their situation. You run into them a couple years later and they stop you on the street or at a basketball game or football game and say, hey, thanks. I remember, when I was in high school or whatever, this happened. I came down and I want you to meet my wife, my family, or my husband, whatever it is, and my kids, and I'm doing great. That's very rewarding, and it's the opportunity to help to give back. I try and be active, come up to the schools, not just Tyrone and Bellwood, any of the schools. I think it's important to the public and the students to know when they see you out and about. Being a judge isn't 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock. I feel that I have a responsibility, or I choose to have that responsibility to be out and about in the public, be active. You would know I run the basketball tournament here for Tyrone and Bellwood. I've done that for 12 years. I think that's fantastic. I love being involved when you're out and about because generally the people that come before you, I have a genuine interest in helping resolve the situation, applying the law, but most importantly, whatever happened, to learn from it, grow from it, and move forward. And when somebody does that's what's the rewarding part of the job is.
What do you think the most difficult part is?
When you're dealing with some of these cases, when you've had some really difficult felony cases involving with victims, adults, children, things along those lines. Those can be difficult. The same way, you have that obligation of community service when, you're dealing with certain things and cases and they have unfortunate outcomes. You don't just walk out of the office, out of the courtroom at 4 o'clock and leave all that stuff behind. There's things you deal with or whatever. I mean, I still, I recall certain things, certain hearings, certain events that might have happened 10, 15 years ago as if they were yesterday. Unfortunately, there's a lot of, there are bad things that can happen, and some very difficult cases to deal with, but you have to go in there, apply the law, and do it fairly. But at the same point in time, when you walk out and leave at 4 o'clock, you don't leave everything there. It stays with you, and that applies to all, the first responders too, which do a tremendous job in Blair County as well too. And it's part of the job, but it's not something you ever grow accustomed to. You never like to see anybody get hurt or injured, or, the worst case, a loss of life.
What does campaigning look like for you?
Campaigning's like a second job that's more time consuming than your regular job, and it's stressful. For common pleas judges, the entire county. So I think on Saturday, for example, I was in Williamsburg in the morning, Hollidaysburg at lunch, Altoona in the afternoon, Martinsburg at 4, and then I was back pulling balls at the Tyrone basketball event on Saturday night for their pig roast. So it's a lot. I'm not home that often. Usually you're gone all day and you get home late in the evening. But getting out, going to events, meeting people, that's what it requires. It's an experience. I'm not a politician, but to run for something that's political, so you're out and about, and usually, pretty much every night of the week I have an event or a meeting or some function you're going to meet people, kind of like the two of you or three of you are doing now, asking questions, answering questions, let them know where you stand. For me, it's let people know this is our track record. This is what we've done for 21 and a half years, to support Blair County, support our residents, and that's what we would like to continue to do, if we're successful in the spring. I've been fortunate, and I'm, most appreciative. I've been here for the Northern Blair County, the district judge, for 21 years. I'm grateful for every day I've been there. I serve the community, and I'm most appreciative, and it's something I'll always remember. I look at this as an opportunity for me, and the county, and without the support I've had, not just in Northern Blair County, but from working for 21 years. I've gotten to know people throughout the county, and without that support, we wouldn't have that opportunity we have now.
For kids like us that want to go into law school, what's it like?
Law school, that the first year they pretty much tell you they scare you to death. Second year they work you to death, and the third year you actually can relax a little bit with it. I always, and you might appreciate that being a basketball player. The night before we had. I'll always remember this. We had orientation. I was accustomed to orientation at Penn State. I showed up with, khaki shorts, a T-shirt, and you walk around campus. So I figured law school was the same thing. The night before, we were actually in semifinals or something up at Mansion Park for basketball. So we went to the basketball game, and we won. So I decided instead of driving home down to school for orientation the next day, I'd just drive down in the morning. So I got up in the morning and put on khaki shorts, same way I dressed at Penn State, sneakers, and I think a Pepsi lifeguard shirt or something from Del Grosso's Park. And I walked into orientation, and everybody else was pretty much wearing business attire and suits. And they said, look to your left, look to your right. And they said, one of you will not be here in 3 years. And both people to my right and left were looking at me, I think partially because how I was dressed. And that kind of gave me a little bit of a head scratcher. But, I might have dressed wrong for the first day of orientation, but when it came to it, we went to class, studied hard, received an award for the highest insurance grade in the class, put the time in, put the work in. It's a lot of work, and if you choose not to do this or not to do that, you're an adult. Nobody's going to hold your hand, but at the end of the day, you're not going to get a good grade, and it's highly competitive because when you graduate, they look at your class rank. What's your grade point, what's your class rank, and, that determines, how things are going to go for your job, your employment opportunities, and from there. I made some wonderful friends at law school, but, it was challenging. I went to Dickinson, which was in Carlisle, which was a good law school. It was a good location for me. There's a good numbers at Penn State's law school now as well. There's a lot of Dickinson and Penn State graduates, obviously, throughout, and that gave me the opportunity to be where I am today. Is that something you're looking at?
It's an idea.
It's fun. It's challenging. You need to take it. If you're going to do it, you got to go all in. You got to go all in 100%. And I'm proud to say, that's what I did.
All right. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you both. I appreciate it.